Hit him.
Touchdown, Debo in the slot. This is my end zone. Give me everything you got. Defense, hit him with that Cosa Nostra. Quan Alexander, this dance, hit both sides. 49er Empire, 49er Empire. This is for the fan base, die hard, set by. Stand up, 4-9 to the heart, J.E. Pull on back in Candlestick Park.
This team knows how to grind out wins. They have a lot of high character players on this team. Leaders like Quan Alexander, leaders like Richard Sherman, George Kittle. There's no reason to count them out. There's no you can't just put them in the Super Bowl. But if there's a team that can overcome the odds and playing in that tough division, playing in that tough NFC, it's the Niners. They're well coached. They're deep. And you can better believe that they're hungry.
Are you listening?
Niners!
Damn.
Ronbo Sports here, representing the Niner Empire organization worldwide. I'm talking Australia, New Zealand, UK, Germany, France, South America, Mexico, and all across the USA, from Cali to the East Coast. I'm talking Virginia. I'm talking New York, New Jersey, Philly, and where is Yamin? Florida, and everything in between. And did I mention Hawaii, my ohana? How you doing, fam? It's looking good. So I'm getting ready for this football season and my Samoan brothers and sisters. Because the sun never sets on the Niner Empire. We're everywhere. And fam, this season's starting off, and in fact, we're lucky to get football season from the way it looks now, because there were moments a month ago that, it looked as if, are we going to get a football season? I mean, by the way, if anybody close to you has suffered the COVID, you know what? There are things bigger than football. And my heart goes out to you. We're going to get over this and through it. But fam, it looked as if we were going to have any football season this year. And it does look like now they're going to go through no matter what. Because the thing is, everything is virtual. You look at anything show you look at now involving Jimmy Kimmel, all these guys are doing their shows on virtual. It's weird. You know what I got to tell you, though? I kind of like the 49ers are doing press conferences, and every now and then you get a scene of something else, but the press conferences are being done in virtual fashion, right? I got to tell you, I like it better. Normally when they're at Levi's Stadium, you don't hear the question because the sound crew that works at Levi's sucks. You hear this, and all of a sudden, the football, whoever the player is, they up there answering the question. You don't know what is he talking about? What was the question? So they need to get that fixed. If they keep it this way, I'll be fine with that. The guys are comfortable from wherever they are to answer the questions anyway, more so than they do when they're at Levi's Stadium. You know what I want to see? I want to see, Jimmy G is always, like Jimmy G can't, his hands are he's scratching his wrist, he's checking his watch, a scratch across the left beard. I always got it down to a routine. When he's doing it, I'm doing the Jimmy G as I'm watching. I like G, I can tease him all I want to. But anyway, I'm enjoying the virtual press conferences. So and everybody identifies himself, you can hear them clearly and everything. What really was sad though, they kept asking the 49ers, because the 49ers are going to be the homeless Niners. It appears the 49ers, I think they're going to pull out probably next week, I would guess, because they got a lot of work they want to probably get to. And, the guys are all professional and everything. We know we're leaving. That's okay. We'll be fine. And then I start thinking, the Niner Empire is everywhere. So wherever they go, they're gonna be amongst us, right? So I'm okay with that. And I know wherever they go, whoever is representing the area will take care of our guys. I don't know if they're going to let anybody come out and watch them while they're working out and practicing due to I don't know the restrictions are going to be like wherever they go. They're probably going to be less than they are in California, right? Arizona, Reno, Nevada, I've heard that thrown up once. I don't know where they're going to end up. But they're going to be Well, Isaac, don't worry about it, right? And then they're not gonna be alone, or they're gonna be out there. People will be yelling for them and screaming. And if they let them out there and wherever they go around town, of course they'll be greeted in red and gold fashion. But of course, and how many times did they talk about Javon Kinlaw today? I got a kick out of that because Kinlaw's like the spotlight's on him right now. A few days ago, they talked to Deebo Samuel, and he was talking about Ayuk, Brandon Ayuk, and also, of course, Jennings. And Deebo's already taken that lead role. He said he's going to take care of those guys and do whatever he can to make sure to ease them into the transition. Because first of all, the playbook is going to be tough. Now, Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh are teaching our guys through virtual classrooms about those complicated things they've got to learn between now and opening day. But there's nothing like being on the field and actually making mistakes, going through the motions with the coaching staff. We got one of the best there is to get these guys up to speed before the season starts so they can keep up with the starters. Fortunately, we don't have that many rookies this year, so the 49ers are going to be less impacted than a lot of teams because we don't have a lot of guys coming in and having to learn a new program. We don't have a new coach or anything like that. Everybody knows what they're going to do. But I'll get to juice in a second, but some of the things they're going to learn from last year, the guys are going to be taking it to the next level because Kyle's got several levels to what he does. So if you thought they were good last year, you've not seen a thing yet. But what they said about Javon Kinlaw is everybody thinks he's going to be great. Eric Armstead is going to be taken under his wing and make sure that he brings up to speed as much as he can. And again, I said they can't be on the field, but Eric's going to get them as ready as much as he can. And I don't know to what degree they're going to do, if they're going to be working out together by themselves. He didn't indicate exactly what he's going to do with that. But he's in fine hands with Eric Armstead. Oh yeah. And of course, Eric said we take care of that. While the other 49ers, Dre Greenlaw, is saying about Javon. Dre says he could come in, because at Arkansas, Dre played against Javon when he was at South Carolina, right? And he says, oh man, I played against him. He could come in looking just like Nick Bosa, guns are blazing and coming out with the ROY. I said, what? See, because I need more encouragement about Javon, because I'm a little concerned for the reasons that he can't come out and he can't work out and learn some of the things he needs to learn. But maybe there'll be enough tutelage. And also, they'll get probably a few weeks. They need some preseason games in. But I don't want them to start learning at that point. I want them to be ready to go. They'll work it out. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry. It'll be okay. I know they're going to work it out. So there's that. But you know what? The linebacking crew with Dre, I just realized something. Dre he also mentioned he is going to be working out both the Sam and the Will linebacker, right? So, and you know Quan, I don't want to speak these things into existence, but you know Quan has a tendency to come up with these little ouchies. So if Dre is good at both the Sam and Will and Fam, did you check out what Dre said? Dre said, I didn't really fully understand the playbook until the playoffs. He was busted. Guy was good all season long. He now knows the playbook from the way he's talking. Oh, this is good stuff. So Drake, he could go between Sam and Will, if need be. And look out for this guy named Jonas Griffin. Jonas Griffin's the linebacker of the UDFA. He could be making this team. I guess Zacha would be his competition. I don't think anybody else's, he's got to take anybody else's job. You never know. But I don't think he's going to take anybody else's job or be booed aside. Or maybe the 49ers carry Zacha too. I don't know. But look out for this guy, Jonas Griffin. I'm looking forward to what he looks like in camp. Because his numbers coming here were crazy. I don't know how he didn't get drafted. There's a lot of guys this year. How did they not get drafted? So we're going to see about that. And hey, the guy to watch. I put him in my top Niners, the top 9 Niners to be watched. See what I did there? He is getting bigger. He expects his role to expand. I understand he's putting on more muscle, more size. He figures his load's going to be picked up a little bit due to the fact that he is now the man. You know what else I really enjoyed? He put out the other day in a report saying things like, I can't wait to see Jerick McKinnon prove the doubters wrong. Show the doubters and prove they were wrong? I like the sound of that. That must mean you don't stick your neck out on the line saying things like that unless you know something, right? If Jerick McKinnon is on point and healthy, Oh, fam. And for those who keep saying, oh, man, in Minnesota, he was only so. Let me tell you one thing about Minnesota, okay? When he comes over to play in San Francisco, he ain't playing Minnesota football. Jerick McKinnon's going to be playing Kyle Shanahan football. Understand that. They're two different things. If Shanahan went and got Jerick McKinnon, it is because he has a plan for Jerick McKinnon. And if McKinnon can execute, then you can get over Minnesota right quick. It's Kyle Shanahan football. He'll be doing it and probably doing it well because Shanahan picked him up for the reason that he fits the plan. Yo, I can't wait to see this. So, here, I can't wait. And by the way, I was talking about Juice a minute ago. Juice was talking about some of the things we learned last year we're going to build upon this year. But what I really appreciated from Juice, because I know Juice is going to improve anyway. I don't need to hear from him. I know what he's going to do. I got a kick out of that one line. He says, hey, by the way, as he's answering the reporters, hey, I saw something the other day saying that I was tired of defending Jimmy Garoppolo. No, I'm not. I'll defend Garoppolo anytime and all the time. I said, Juice, me and you, man, because I'm sick of people talking about Jimmy G, man. They don't understand what's going on. Jimmy G went last year, went through the year, should have went through the year before. After he hurt his leg, he hurt his leg, came back, he's healed up, he's come back to one of the most complicated offensive in football. It wasn't only him that had to learn these things. They all had to learn these things, and people misconstrued and thought, Jimmy G sucks. Oh, man. I'm telling you right now, fam, you're going to be mesmerized. You know why I like telling you these things? It's less like last year when I told you Dub was going to fire things up this year. Was I right or what? Did I tell you to get up off Eric Armstead? Yeah, I did. And I'm telling you right now, the same thing about Jay. I know you say, hey, Ronbo, man, you told us about Ahkello Witherspoon too. I know, but I 2 out of 3, okay? Shut it! Jimmy G is going to be straight money this year. I'll tell you about him all day, every day, because that's my dude. MC, what's up?
Look like your dude will be rolling with the Raiders.
Oh, MC, don't start right now, man. Draft time is over. Your quarterback ain't here either.
Beg pardon?
What?
The boy's name is Brock Rudder. And I like him already.
Brock Rudder, that's camp fodder, man. MC, stop. You need to stop.
Hold up.
Stop.
Hold up.
Oh.
If anybody want a Jimmy G 10 jersey and wear a size tiny, I'll give you a deal on mine. And I'm gone.
And you need to be gone, too. See what I'm saying? This is the attitude I'm talking about. Nobody wants to forgive Jimmy G. I'm surprised you didn't say something about Tom Brady. Oh, I can't wait till this season gets... Things have changed, fam. Things have changed. A lot has... That hill that... Oh... I'm going to be all over it, too. I ain't playing, boy. I got Jerick McKinnon, Jimmy G. Stop the presses. I got some questions I want to ask you, too, right now. Let's go over to the camp and get busy. Niner fam, I've got one of my favorite writers, and I call him Matt Andruscavage. Mark, if I get your name right on that, Andruscavage? Matt. Oh, Matt Andruscavage. I was worried about the last name. Matt.
That's right.
Is that right?
The last name's right.
Yes.
Not a lot of people get it right on the first try.
I just wanted to ask you before now. I said, I got to get this right. Mark, let me tell you a little about Mark first. Mark's my go-to guy before Matt. I don't know where's Mark. Sorry, Matt. I will not do that again, Matt. Before every game, I always go and find Matt immediately and read his articles. Matt's not a homer like I am, but Matt puts it all into perspective. Before the game starts, he breaks it down, letting you know how and why the 49ers are going to win. At the end, he gives you the predicted score. And I said, let me post this up. I can't wait. Look at Matt's got it. He's got it. Matt, I'm delighted to meet you, man.
To meet you too. I appreciate the opportunity. I love your show, and I am, of course, extremely flattered that you like the articles.
Oh, I love them. And Matt, because the thing is, I've got butterflies and I go nuts. I might as well be like on the team the way I feel before games start. I can't sleep well night before the games, and when the game starts, it's like, oh man, here we go. And so reading you was so enlightening because I think Matt's got this. Matt, you write for some other sites too, don't you? What else do you busy with?
Well, I write for the 49ers WebZone.
Right.
That's probably where I spend most of my energy. I'm going to be getting back into that shortly as well. And I occasionally write for a site called the Grueling Truth, which is where I actually podcast with former 49ers running back Dexter Carter.
Right. See, Matt knows what he's talking about. See, but when he writes these things up, you can believe him because the guy's got experience in all this. And he's watching these guys. And, Matt, I'm just delighted. Let's go ahead and get started, Matt, because I want to know, we've got Trent Williams and Joe Staley. Remember our GM, Mr. McCloughan, and he's actually seen both of them come into the league. And a lot of us were considered blasphemous to say anything about Joe Staley. We're thinking, Joe's leaving. My God. And then, the thing is, you're thinking Joe's leaving, the world's coming to a slight end. And then they say Trent Williams is coming on. Oh, even the most, huge Joe Staley fan, I still am, had to be able to accept that, right? And McCloughan says, hey, you guys, I gotta tell you right now, Joe Staley's a great player, but he's no Trent Williams. I was, what? Matt, are you buying that? Is that right? And how's that going to affect all the things that Kyle Shanahan likes to do?
Well, here's the thing about Trent Williams. Kyle Shanahan has a lot of firsthand knowledge working with Trent Williams during his time in Washington. So that is a real plus. You're getting a guy that possibly could be the best offensive lineman in football since he came in the league in 2010. He's been a seven-year Pro Bowler. The guy he's a mauler. He came into the league basically known for his run blocking, but he's just great at everything. And you look at what Nick Bosa has said. He studied some film on him, and he just talks about how fast his feet are. And that was really one of the things in the scouting report about him. He sets his feet so quickly. He's very, very difficult to get around. And as much as I'm with you, I love Joe Staley. Yeah. I'm going to miss Staley like crazy. He's been tremendous for as long as he's been with the Niners. But I will say that I think if we're going to take an objective look, you could tell he's starting to decline the last couple of years. He's still very good. But there were times, even last year, he came back off that injury, and we saw him in Seattle, and it was a rough outing for him. But so there's times there were just some signs that he was kind of reaching the end, but what a replacement. And so is he automatically going to just step in and everything's hunky-dory? We don't know for sure, but the odds are very good. That's a heck of a replacement.
So people were pointing out to me, I hadn't seen him play against San Diego. Ingram and Bosa are over there as well, a couple of great edges. And I was laughing because I haven't got a chance to see it yet. I just heard about it. Trent Williams actually put a spin move on Ingram. As Ingram was getting ready to put his spin move on Trent put the spin on with him. You mentioned fast feet. What kind of offensive lineman can move with a defensive lineman with Ingram's kind of speed and meet him on the spin and deny access? I said, wow, I've been looking for it. I got to find it. But what we're talking about is exactly what you just said. The guy's not normal. And you went ahead and deemed him probably the best offensive lineman in the NFL.
It's very possible. I don't know that there's really many better. So I think he's as good if he's not the best in all of football. And when you have a guy like that with that kind of talent at left tackle, that's so important, especially with a right-handed quarterback. And so, left tackle is probably the most important position on the offensive line in Shanahan's offense besides center as far as athleticism. So having a guy like that come in and replace Joe Staley, man, that's a heck of a move by the front office. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see him out there, and I don't think too many guys are going to get past him.
Matt, I tell you what, we're looking at an offensive line now, and Trent Williams, the upgrade because due to Joe Staley is declining down the last couple of seasons. Now Weston Richburg, Tomlinson's coming on every year. Seems like he's reaching a new level. You're going to put Matt Brunskill in there.
Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel Brunskill coming in. And next to him, I figure Mike McGlinchey's probably going to climb to another level soon as well. Is that going to be one of the better offensive lines? Now that I think about that they should be able to get a lot of work done this year.
Oh, for sure. I think they were already one of the best offensive lines in the whole NFL. Even last year, you especially look at the depth that they have. I saw some people were kind of griping about moving Brunskill to guard. That's going to hurt the depth. No. If you watched last year, you got Justin School at left tackle at 6th round draft. Came in, performed pretty admirably for a rookie at times when he was in tough spots. Yeah. And you got him. You got the backup center, Ben Garland, who came in and performed very well when Weston Richburg went out. They drafted the rookie, and I forget his name. I don't have all the rookies memorized, but their 5th round pick, I believe, was a rookie guard. So you look at the offensive line. You look at the way that a lot of these guys can play different positions. Like Brunskill can play pretty much any position. Mm-hmm. That's a really good job building this offensive line, and I do think they're among the top 3 or 4 groups in the league.
And you mentioned depth-wise even too, and Brunskill can actually play on the edge as well. I mean the outside. So because he took over Joe and did a great job last year as well. And looking forward too, Jerry Rice has went ahead and he got together with Kiana the other day, and they had a conversation. And, we all think with the 49ers, it's kind of a normal feeling. Everybody thinks the 49ers are going to hustle right back into the Super Bowl next year. We look at our team, how it's made up. We didn't lose a lot of pieces, a lot of young kids on it. They should be fine. And then Jerry says things that you forgot about. Now, and you know it too, in the back of my mind, I know it. Every team is going to be hunting for bear. Every time I see the 49ers, they're going to get all charged up. They're going to get all pumped up, because it's a prestigious thing to beat and knock the big dog off the top. What are you seeing in that, Matt?
I saw what Jerry Rice was talking about, and he's right. What's going to happen is as we've seen before, once you climb to the top, you got a target, and once you get a target, you're getting everyone's best every week. Nothing's given. But here's the thing about this team under Kyle Shanahan. You watch them since 2017. This team, nothing has been given. They have earned everything that they've gotten. They don't get a lot of calls. They don't. They have not had favorable. Injury bug has been always a problem, especially 2017 and 2018, right. And even into last year. I mean, they lost some key players and
Ronnie Blair.
You think of all the guys that went down.
Julian Taylor.
It's amazing that they were able to find as much depth as they had. I mean. But here's the thing about this team. You watch them, they're in the toughest division in football. They've had a tough schedule pretty much every year, and they are battle tested. I watch them, especially like you think about down the stretch last year during that 3-game gauntlet against Green Bay, Baltimore, and New Orleans. They came out 2-1, and they were a field goal away from sweeping that thing. They started off, 8-0, 9-0, and they were a field goal away from knocking off Seattle, missing a number of players. They lost those close games, and then they were able to come back and beat the Rams, win in Seattle. I mean, these are not easy games. They're playing some tough teams, and this team knows how to grind out wins. They have a lot of high-character players on this team. Leaders like Quan Alexander, leaders like Richard Sherman and George Kittle. There's no reason to count them out. There's no you can't just put them in the Super Bowl. But if there's a team that can overcome the odds and playing in that tough division, playing in that tough NFC, it's the Niners. They're well coached. They're deep. And you can better believe that they're hungry.
Matt, the thing is, we're watching that team grow and develop into the hardened vets that they're starting to look like now. Is Kyle Shanahan, he's made some moves that were kind of questionable. Yeah. The genius that he is he still growing in this prime? I look at that, I say, is Kyle learning as he goes as well? He's always been an OC, but he's in his 4th season as a head coach, and he's probably learned a lot of things too. Did Kyle do a lot of growing that you expect to see some different reactions to things next season?
I do think that he's got to be able to take a hard look at certain things that, he's, when you get criticized for losing Super Bowls, you get control to at least take a look at what you're doing. I do think he's going to continue to grow. I do think he's a lot better than people want to give him credit for. I mean, no one wants to see the team lose the Super Bowl, and that's a hard pill to swallow. The Niner fans, we ain't used to that. No. We're used to winning Super Bowls.
And Matt, this is the second time, okay? And that's really in a row. That's really that was hard to swallow. But as I say, like you say, we're still well equipped to go into it. And the trajectory is still up. If the 49ers had been flatlining and it reached a plateau, then you could say, well, it's got to be tough to see him come back. But the fact is, though, teams are going to be loaded for bear to come after the 49ers. And those games that you're not supposed to lose are going to be on the Cardinals are still hanging around waiting for it. Man, I got to tell you, you know how matchups can sometimes be an issue? The team could be an absolute juggernaut, but there's always that one team, no matter what, that always gives them a hard time. Is the Cardinals going to be that team for us, I wonder?
You know, you're probably onto something there. You know, division games are always tough. You know, don't listen to fans of other teams criticizing the Niners for having a hard time with the Cardinals. They're not looking at this correctly. Division games are tough. No matter what's going on, your team could be 0-10, and they're going to play a division opponent tough because you're used to them. You guys see each other twice a year, and the Cardinals are improving every year. They gave the Niners all they could handle last 2 years, but you know, even you go back into all the games that they've played against the Niners under Kyle Shanahan, they've been tight games. Yeah. And so I expect that. I do think the Niners will still beat them, but it ain't going to be easy.
No. And I the thing with the quarterback that can escape the pocket and keep play alive, I'm hoping that Sal and friends are going to come with a little more formula for that. It could be the experience of some of the guys in the secondary, because you saw what happened when we had in the game, the Ravens, they hid the ball well. I mean, Jackson would turn around. You had no idea where the ball was coming from. And all of a sudden, he'd come flying out of there, where else is running backs and everything else. Matt, is there a formula for that other than just guys that are quick off the line? It's just this thing that scares me the most.
Well, when you bring up the Ravens game, the Ravens were running the exact same offense that the Niners rode to the Super Bowl in 2012 with Colin Kaepernick. And, I mean, that's Greg Roman's offense. And Lamar Jackson is probably very even faster than Kaepernick, quicker for sure.
Quicker for sure, yeah.
And what they probably should have done after like the second time is stop crashing the running back. And I would gamble by going after Tavares Jackson, because it was repeatedly the zone read, and Armstead just kept biting on it. It's like at some point you got to tell him, just hit the quarterback. Yeah. I think with having Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson in the division, I think that really helps them, because like you said, they were playing the Cardinals were playing the Niners differently. They were doing a lot of stuff to frustrate them. They weren't letting them just attack the quarterback with that pass rush. They were doing a lot of things, getting the ball out fast, moving the quarterback around. But I do think that after the second time they faced Arizona, that they were getting used to that.
Yeah,
I think they were making adjustments, and I do think they played Baltimore very tough despite giving up some runs. They held them to their lowest offensive output of the season.
And it's just a testament to how great that defense really is. I got a feeling they're going to adjust to it all that next year, because every team in the league is going to try to do that. And when you see Jared Goff rolling out of the pocket, and you see guys like Matty Ice, I said, what is Ryan doing? He never does this. What? And it worked to some degree. So everybody thinks, well, all you got to do with the 49ers, that rush is so hot. They pursue so hard. All you got to do is step to your right, step to your left, and maybe we can miss them and buy you a little bit of time. If you stand there like Aaron Rodgers, you're dead meat. And it's why I say they're going to have to make an adjustment on that. Hey, that wide receiver room. Now, the 49ers have got an abundance of talent now. And
sure do.
And there's really, and I don't know if I've ever seen it like this before. Not that many, because you always have the guys 49er fans particularly like to pick on, and he's gone, and usually the staff seems to agree. Matt, who's going to stay in that wide receiver room? This is crazy this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys. You got probably you look at the guys who are coming back this year. You think of like Trent Taylor and Jalen Hurd. Those guys are not just going to be red shirts or camp bodies. Yeah. Same with then they draft Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings. I spent some time watching Juwan Jennings. The guy is tough. I think he may have a place in this offense. And then
I like that.
Don't sleep on Chris Fink, the undrafted receiver from Notre Dame.
Yes.
If he hadn't had that hamstring injury, he probably would have been drafted maybe a mid-round pick or something like that. He's pretty good. So here's the way I look at it.
Matt, before you go any further, I just want to ask you about that. Is he a threat to Trent Taylor?
It's possible. It all depends on how Trent Taylor progresses with his injury. If Trent Taylor's healthy, I promise you Trent Taylor's on the roster.
Yeah.
He's going to be. You watch him in 2017. The guy is. I think he's going to be better than like a Fred Beasley, or not a Fred Beasley.
I know it's Beasley you mean though.
It's late here. I'm on third shift. I need a little bit of slack.
But everybody knows what Beasley, the blonde-haired guy that left the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
But I do think he's going to be pretty tough in the slot. I think Kyle Shanahan can utilize him. So here's the way I'm looking at it. Debo and Kendrick Bourne are locks. I don't see them keeping more than 7 guys. They kept 7 last year. That's kind of on the high end. Typically 6 is what you keep, but I think Kyle keeps 7. You got Hurd and Taylor, so that would make it 4. So now you got guys like Dante Pettis and Richie James who could be on the bubble. Dante Pettis is going to be, unless he comes back as a completely different player, it's hard for me to see him on the roster. Now that you have Brandon Ayuk and Jawan Jennings. And Richie James is a pretty good player too. And so I would say for sure Dante Pettis is the guy that probably not going to be on the roster unless he's a totally different guy. And then maybe
Matt, he was a second round. He was a second round pick though.
No, that's painful.
Do you trade it? I mean, it's a wow. I mean, if I'm Lynch, I'm tossing and turning that night that we cut him because we couldn't get even a 6th round pick for him. I mean, somebody might do that. Matt, do you foresee that though? Because Dante Pettis, everybody else are talking about cutting. Yeah, it's easy to see, but Pettis, he's got skills. What's questionable is his heart. Will another team, maybe like Belichick or somebody, would they be? What do you think about that one though?
Well, the guy's got talent, and he's also a punt returner. So there's plenty of teams that could use a guy like him. He's kind of a tweener as far as the way his body is.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a guy that goes over the middle like T.O.
and no yak. No.
Right. So in this offense, I think he can get yak maybe on the sidelines and stuff, but. Because he has speed, but sometimes his hands are questionable. It's hard to really gauge. I don't know exactly what put him in the doghouse so badly that they didn't even use him, especially when they probably needed him.
Right.
But it just seems like once you get in Kyle's doghouse, it's very, very, very hard to get out. If Matt Breida could be traded after the season he had in 2018.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see where it's likely that Pettis goes, but I don't know. We'll see. What I like about them is the way that they've drafted. They've even if they move on from him, there's so much young prospects on this team.
I wonder, did we pick up any undrafted free agents? UDFA seemed to do well in San Francisco, so
Well, Chris Fink from Notre Dame.
Oh, that's Chris.
He's good. He's a kick returner or a punt returner. He's a slot receiver, a lot like Trent Taylor, and I don't know that I think he's kind of a long shot to make the team, but
I can't
what they're looking for.
But Matt, we cannot keep Dante Pettis and say goodbye to Chris Fink. I just can't do it. Oh, I hope. I don't think they're going to do it. I think you're right. I think Dante's on his last leg unless he comes into the camp a whole nother personality, a whole nother Dante, a whole nother aptitude. Because Kyle did mention, and he said he doesn't have the drive. He actually used the term drive, and so Dante's out there blaséing around. And I don't know that he really wants to play ball after getting hit like that. And he's been injured how many times so far? About 3 times, 4 times since he's been in the league?
Yeah, he's had some injuries. Yeah. That's for sure. It's just, sometimes the best ability is availability, the old cliche.
John Lynch said it in a statement too recently, too. And I thought it was just everybody else saying that besides the front office people. But when John says this, they feel the same way. Okay, that's the way it's going to be. Because, a lot of times a coach or a manager knows a player. They see things in him like that nobody else does. Because when Kendrick Bourne was making everybody mad, the 49ers weren't. Kyle was very patient with him. And now Kendrick Bourne's probably going to blossom into probably one of the best guys we got on the team, provided that he's up for it right now. He's talking about it all the time. He knows the competition is tough. He comes into every season feeling like an underdog. He really is going to be tested this year.
Yeah, for sure. Kendrick, even a guy like Kendrick Bourne is not untouchable. You know, they could get some trade value for him because of the way that how good he is on third down and how good he is in the red zone. But you know, the nice thing is there is an abundance of riches at wide receiver. The downside is you can't keep everyone, so somebody have to go. Ideally, you could keep a guy like Chris Fink on the practice squad, but I don't know that Jawan Jennings is going to make the practice squad. So I do think they're probably going to have to move on. They got to move on for sure from one guy, possibly two.
Yeah,
seven on the roster.
Well, I fully agree. You put Fink and Jennings on the practice squad, they'll be picked up or cherry picked. I would within a week or two after the season starts. So, because other teams are gonna look at some of the receiving cores, they're part of their receiving core, and they're gonna say, the 49ers got too much over there. They've got Fink and they've got Jennings. Really? Let's cut this guy right now and hustle up and get over there and get that pick right now. So, I just don't want to see Pettis go to someone in the division like, you know how Seattle has this tendency to take every single one of every ex-49er that there is. And especially exactly the ones you don't want. And that's why I was so worried.
Want to see that happen.
And that's why I was so worried when they were talking about Eric Armstead. Maybe jettison to some of the places. You got to get rid of him somewhere where you want to. Seattle would pick him up in a heartbeat. And, we signed it.
If there's a player that was in 49ers camp for a day, the Seahawks will look at him. That's the way it's been. But I was glad to see Breida go to the AFC. I did not want to see him in Seattle. I don't want to see any of these guys in Seattle. Just sick of Seattle.
We don't have to worry about the Raiders anymore. And the thing is, we're going to see Matty B because we do have the Dolphins on our schedule, but
right.
It's not going to be every year, and it's not going to be twice a year, so it's okay. Matt, thank you so much. I love the enlightenment. Keep up the good work. Hey, Matt, we were talking a little bit before we started. Matt was feeling down and out because of COVID making everybody crazy, and he couldn't get himself back in the mood to write and everything. Matt, you're back in the write. You get ready to write now because we got to have you for every game.
Oh, I promise you. You lit a fire under me. I was delighted to hear from you, and I'm on it. I promise.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate that so much. And Matt, like we traditionally do on Ronbo Sports, are you ready for the big fiery yell? I'm going to give you 3, 2, 1. Let it out. 3.
Niners!
Matt.
I didn't even let you count it down all the way.
And that's fine. That shows enthusiasm. I like that. Thanks, Matt. Man. I'm telling you, fam, I gave you articles before the game. I remember I posted Matt's stuff up. Matt is so inspiring for football games. I mean, I loved it. Why? Matt, my dude. Can't wait to get back to talk to you again, fam. Hey, fam, I'm going to roll on out of here and look forward to talking to you all weekend long like we always do. All right? Just have a great old time and day and think nothing but red gold, baby. Maestro, count me down, please.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this is crazy mother.